This would be Friday, October 14th, as we are recording class. This is day 3 of our fantabulous year. I fixed the lighting for those of you who are watching at home, because yesterday it felt like I was teaching in a cave. But on here now, it looks much, much better. We're doing a quick review. There is homework that is due on Monday, which is called the Yellow Sheet. It can be found on my website. It can also be found on the weekly email. And then we did that in the yellow. On the Yellow Sheet. Due Monday, this will be a question open to the class, all of us together. How long should we spend working on it?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. You should not spend. See, this is your evidence for parents. They're all like, "Oh, you're full of lies, child." They're like, no, you can make them come here and watch it, and here's your video documentary evidence. The fact that you only have to spend 20 minutes working on it, unless they were drooling the whole time. I made that very clear. And then we're going through and covering the rules because beating day today. We're all excited. And so we're trying to get past that information. So we've been doing a quick review of all of the points. You just missed the little beginning review, but that's fine. So we went through and we're covering, throwing the class materials. All right. Following class directions, you guys did a good job. Much better than those earlier kids in class periods. They had all kinds of issues. Missing a homework assignment. 4 bad things happen to you whenever you miss a homework assignment. So let's go through and we'll cover those bad things. Matt, give me one of the 4 bad things that happen to you when you miss an assignment.
You will be called out.
Well, yeah, but I'm going to call you guys out for everything. That's a good try. That's not one of the 4 things that happens for all the stuff. What's your next guess?
You lose B points?
Yes, always the safe one. Anytime you act like an idiot, you're going to lose B points. So 1, you're going to lose B points, and that would definitely be bad. Burton.
You lose your desk.
You don't get to sit down. Only students get to sit down. If you don't do homework, then you're not a student. Raider?
You have to write an essay?
No, that's retarded, but a good guess. I do like torturing kids, just not that particular way yet. Alexandra? Solid answer. I wasn't thinking that myself. I like where you went with that.
I forgot.
It happens Fridays. Walls?
You have to do it anyway?
Is correct. I'm going to end up making you do it anyway. And then the 4th one is connected to that. When you do it, it's not going to count for full credit. It's going to be a late credit. But my late credit is not a 0 because I think that's pointless. My late credit, when you do it, is still a C-. And so you'll do it for late credit, and you'll still get the C- for it. So no matter what, you're going to do it, you're going to lose B points, and it's still going to get turned in. Writing utensils. On the off chance that you don't have a writing utensil, not that that would ever happen in this class. Let's see, you could buy a writing utensil. Kennedy, if you wanted to purchase a writing utensil from me, how much would it cost you to buy a normal writing utensil?
3 B points.
Works for me. 3 points, unless you want to go fancy and you want the clicky ones. And how much would a clicky one cost?
5 points.
Is correct. 5 points. If you don't want to spend those points, because the idea of spending that much scares you, April, instead you can borrow one from me. But to borrow one from me, what would you have to give me instead?
Your shoe.
Your shoe, because mine are scientifically designed writing utensils so they don't fall out of your hand. And because my scientifically designed writing utensils, Bryn, let's go with what makes my writing utensils so special?
They're little indentation marks and
Works for me. Pre-textured. Little indentation marks from teeth or, science. That makes sure they don't slide out of your hand, and that way we'll trade back at the end of the class period. You can't loan someone a writing utensil because that would be bad, Cole. If you do loan someone a writing utensil, what happens to that writing utensil when I find out?
Both people get in trouble.
Yes, that would definitely happen. And what happens to the writing utensil?
You get to keep it?
Is always a solid guess. Yes, I rip it out of your little hands and it becomes mine, and then you lose points for loaning it to him. So that would be a silly thing to do. Let's see, did that? Oh, if you make the poor choice of clicking a pen or a pencil, Tommy, what's going to happen if you sit there and go clickety, 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 clickety?
You're going to tear it out of our hands.
I shall, and then throw it behind my desk. And then taunt you with it every day for a while until I get bored with your tears. Then also, you may leave my classroom by using B points, but you already have a way of leaving my classroom if you really want to, Luke. If you don't want to use B points, what can you use instead?
Hall pass.
A hall pass. How many times can you use that hall pass?
3 times.
Oh, good job, you're smart. You can use it a total of 3 times, or you can use B points. And then you can use that to go out to either one. These are all the ways to lose points. don't do this, you'll be fine. But if you start to lose points and you want to gain points, then we went to the good stuff. And then for the good stuff through there, we talked about the recycling. You can turn in wires. Once again, unplug them first. Ask for parent permission before you just bring in wires. Paper, you can do smashed cans. You can do the box tops, stuff like that. Finding a vocab word in the book. The tie game, we'll explain that to you guys next week. The homework and passing the quiz. The homework that you guys have today isn't the official homework yet. This is an easy homework. The real homework will begin probably the week after next. I don't know if we're going to do any homework next week. That might be a homework-free week. We'll see. Don't get too excited yet, but it might be. And then we'll go on from there. Let's see. This is one I just added on because I didn't tell my earlier classes. We're going to have a reading log that we do throughout the year that every 7th grader does, where you have to read 70 minutes a week. If you go and read beyond that 70 minutes a week, and it can be anything. It can be on the internet, it can be on Wattpad, it can be magazines, it can be sports stuff, it can be an actual book. As long as you're just reading, it counts towards that 70 minutes. If you read more than 70 minutes, it gets you extra B points. And so you can earn up to 5 points each week just by reading extra. And so that's up to you too. And so I added that one in there. I forgot to tell you guys about that. Then, the bad things. Did we cover these with you guys yesterday?
No.
Okay, so that's why that's why BD Day couldn't begin yet. Alright, so this would be the emergency bad stuff that comes into it. If you lose points and you go below 5, you lose the right to sit in your normal seat, because the seats are for good kids. If you go below 5 points, you're no longer a good kid. You now have issues, and you're what we call a slow kid. Being slow has nothing to do with how smart you are. Slowness has to do with how well you can learn to behave in a society, in a social area. So you get ripped from your seat, and you get put in my slow kid seats. And the slow kid seats are the ones that are right up here next to me, so that when you make poor choices, you're within stick swinging distance right there. So you have to come and then you sit right there. If you don't want to get down that low because it kind of scares you, and you're like, what can I do in emergency-wise? If you don't have any recycling like that, you can do what's called a Simpsons sheet. And a Simpsons sheet comes from the TV show The Simpsons. At the very beginning of The Simpsons, you have Bart Simpson. He's like writing on the chalkboard. That's where I got the idea. What you end up doing is there's a piece of paper, and you just write a phrase 50 times. And the phrase is long. I threw big words in there. It's like, I will be more responsible for my performance in school as it affects others, or something like that. And you have to write that phrase 50 times. You write that phrase 50 times, it gets you 5 B points. But you can only do that if you're in single digits. You have to be a bad kid for me to torture you. If you're a good kid, you're out of luck. I'm sorry, you're good. You'll just have to suffer with your goodness. When you're bad, you get that option. You can choose to take a detention, and that gets you 10 points for taking a detention. The problem is when you serve a detention, it's during lunch, bucket of tears, all the bad things happening to you and stuff like that, but it does get you 10 points. And you get an additional 5 if you get your detention slip signed. When they take home to your parents, and they go, you're a horrible child, and you go, I know. And then they sign that and you bring it back. So if you serve a detention and you complete it and you get it signed by a parent, you could get 15 points for your detention. The problem is, you can only do that if you're in single digits. If you're in double digits, I'm sorry, you're a good child. Worst possible news I can give you. So you're out of luck, but you have to be down in single digits in order to do that. And then, we have what's called the Hochstetter Rule. The Hochstetter Rule is named after one of my past students, whose name was Hochstetter. And the way it works is that he found a way to abuse the system. And his parents did a whole bunch of recycling. And so he would bring in recycling every week and get 20 to 30 points every week in recycling. And would just bring in like a big bag of cans, like splash! And he was like, points! But then he would spend those points by being an idiot the entire week. Oh, I'm just an idiot! And he would lose points, but he would never get a detention because he always had points. So I came up with what's called the Hochstetter Rule. The Hochstetter Rule says if you lose 15 points in a week, you get an automatic detention, regardless of how many points you have. If you have 1,000 points and you lose 15 in a week, you get an automatic detention, because you should never lose 15 points in a week. It is hard to lose 15 points in a week. The only way to lose 15 points in a week is by doing the, I'm an idiot thing. And so you have to like not do your homework, and then talk to other kids, and then just go kick another child. And then you're just like, everything I can do. And then you're going to lose all of your points, except for There's the rare case of kids who just like to talk just nonstop. Like those kids, you're gonna have more issues because like every time I'm talking, like he's talking, time to start talking now, and then you're gonna irritate me, and then you'll lose points. But that doesn't happen very often. So if you lose 15 points, you get an automatic detention. Usually, what I'll do is I'll stop you at 14 when you lose points. I'm like, hey, I capped you at 14. The next thing you do, you get a detention. And you're like, oh really? Kick. Problem solved. So just don't lose 15 points, and you're fine. This is the other thing I want to cover with you. The scale of good and badness. Right now, you're at 15 points. So you're right here in this little middle area. As you lose points, if you go below 10, you are now close to being slow. Once you hit single digits, things get a little bit scary. You don't get to move around the room when we work on projects and stuff like that because I no longer trust you. If you get below 5, that's when you come over here to the slow kid alley so we can help guide you to become a better person. As you gain points, good things happen to you. You don't spend these points, you automatically get these rewards. If you keep 20 points, you get to sit on top of your desk whenever we have, work time or I'm reading to you or something like that. When other kids have to sit down at their desk, you get to sit on top of your desk and just swing your little feet back and forth like that. Mr. Brovicast, why is that a good thing? I don't know, but kids just love it. And it's like, well, and their little feet just go back and forth, so I put it on there. At 30 points, you get to bring a pillow to class. Once again, you don't spend 30 points, you just get to automatically. As long as you keep 30 points, every day you show up, you can bring a pillow. You can sit on the pillow like, ooh, cushy, cushy. You can go ahead and just put the pillow on your desk and just lay on it. You can just cuddle with the pillow. It's up to you. You can bring a pillow every day. You can put the pillow on top of your desk and sit on top of your desk because you can do both those things because you have enough points. Can we fall asleep on the pillow? Sure. That'd be fun for the rest of the class. That'd be an entertaining game to play. I wish you the best of luck. At 40 points, you can lay on the floor. Whenever we have that work time and other kids are sitting on their desk, you can lay on the floor. Can I lay on the floor with a pillow? Yeah, because you get to do all those things. Can I lay on the floor with a pillow and sit on my desk? No, because that's physically impossible. But if you find a way to do it, yes. And then at 50 points, you get to choose your own seat. For the most part, I don't move seats around a whole lot. I don't have like a whole big changing of my seating chart. Where you are is where you'll be, unless I have to move you because you keep talking, or unless you get enough points to move your own seat. If you get 50 points, once again, you don't spend those points. Every week on Monday is when you can choose a new seat. You can just go to a new spot. You just go to a kid and you're like, do you have 50 points? No. Boom, I have your seat. And you take their seat and they go to your old seat. And you get to kick them out of wherever they were and you get to sit in that new spot. If you want to stop someone from taking your seat, you have to get 50 points. So when they show up and go, I'm taking your seat, you go, 51. And now they can't take your seat until they get to 100. Once they get to 100, they can take all the kids with less than 100 points. So at each of the 50 marks, you can go up and then take the kids below you. So that's one of the things. As you keep gaining points, you can then kick other kids out of their seats and take over their spots. At 75, I have a box in my closet which is full of toys and candy. It's just, I don't have enough room on my walls for all the toys I've collected, and I don't eat candy, so whenever I get it, I just throw it into the box. And so you get to just sort of reach out, like, wee, and you pull out something. Whatever it is, you get to keep it. And it just costs you 5 points to get a pull from it. So you're just sort of like gambling with a box of fun. At 100 points, you have a chance of winning a mint every day. Mint. And so it's just a little card game. You win the game, you get the mint. You lose it, nothing bad happens to you. It's just the benefit of you having 100 points. At 150, you can give points to other kids because people always ask. Hardly anyone ever does it. And then at 200, you get to write your name on the board like all of the other special kids. And so if you want to be able to write it there, you have to get 200 points. That's the main thing as far as the scale going up and down. Walls?
When you have to read a 70-minute thing, can you read it in class?
Yeah. Anytime you read in class counts. Like if you're in social studies and you're reading the textbook, that counts towards your minutes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
If you have above 75, can you go in the mystery box of fun every day?
You can up to 3 times a week. Because what will happen is I'll charge you 5 points, 5 points, then 4 points. That way you don't lose 15 in a week. So other than that, yeah. Bert?
Do we just have to read 70 minutes a week?
and that includes weekends and stuff like that. As long as you just keep track of what you read, it's really easy. You guys read more than you think you do. It's just a matter of keeping track and writing it down. So that's as far as the B points go throughout the year. That was the last thing to cover. Now
No.
I get to officially do
Yay!
Beating Day has begun. So going forward from here, if you were to say be standing in my room when I were to walk back in the door from lunch, I would get to count you tardy. It's just a random example. If you don't bring your stuff to class and you had to borrow a pen from me, that pen would no longer slide through your grip. If come Monday there's directions on the board and you don't follow those directions, I get to charge you points. So now that Beating Day has officially begun, the beatings will officially begun. Right there in the name of the day. So keep that in mind. Make good choices. You can also start bringing in stuff to gain points now that you know how to do it. If you want to gain points, you can bring stuff in too. Alright. Another quick bit of information about my class. Zach?
Are you allowed to bring in like box tabs from like your cereal box or something like to get you points?
The box tops for education thing? Yeah. Every 5 of those get you a point.
Okay.
Nicknames. I've realized I have to explain this to kids because some of you were poorly named by your parents, and then I end up having to rename you. And so some of you are going to get nicknames in my classroom. I don't control it. It's just something that happens in my head. When I look at you, all of a sudden I realize that the name that you've had all your life is the wrong one, and it's up to me to give you the correct one. And you can't request one because that's just not the way my brain works. You just tell like, all my friends call me Spiffy. I'm like, that's weird. So you're out of luck. You can't request it. You'll notice a lot of times when kids write up on my board, a lot of the names they write up there don't look like real names. It's because those are often their nicknames. So they put, Rose or Yorkie or Soapy or Blue or Baba and stuff like that. Those are all nicknames that those kids got. Not every kid gets a nickname. If you get a nickname, it doesn't mean I like you. So don't be like, oh, he gave me a nickname. He likes me. No. Some of the kids, like Stab, still get nicknames. And some of my favorite kids never get nicknames. It just means that your parents named you correctly. I apologize. Some of you won't get nicknames because your real name is too much fun to say. And it just means that your parents chose well, but when I say your name, it just makes you go, whee! And so you're going to have that name forever. You'll know you have a nickname when I keep looking at you and calling a different name. Because once I know your name, I'm like, Bobby. Bobby! You're like, who's Bobby? I'm like, that's you. Me? Yeah, okay. And so that's how you know you now have a new name. You can get rid of whatever your old name was, because I'm not going to be using it anymore. You can use your new name on tests, quizzes, homework, everything you turn in. You just write your new nickname on there, because I'll forget whatever the other name used to be. When will the nicknames start? As soon as I start knowing who you are. I have to first learn your name and then realize, yeah, that name doesn't work. And so here in the next couple days, as I start figuring out who you are, I'll start giving you the nicknames. And it'll happen just throughout the year. Sometimes I'll know you for several months and just realize that the name I've been calling you the whole time is wrong. And so it'll sort of go from that point. If I give you a name you don't like and it makes you go home every night and cry, let me know and I can not call you that anymore. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind making you cry. I just want to make you cry for the right reasons. Like, that made me cry every night. I'm like, oh, I've been doing so many more worse things to you. So just let me know and I can switch it out. It doesn't mean you're going to get a different nickname. It just means I'll go back to whatever your normal name was. So hopefully that will help you out as we go forward with the nicknames on that one. And for the most part, just deal with it. It's just part of the craziness in there. So I've just learned that telling you guys about the nicknames makes things easier. Raider. Now don't sit down. No, go the other way. Open it all the way. Outside my door, walk forward. To your left is a sign. Grab that sign. There you go. I have a sign I keep outside my door that I will flip through and change. It'll tell you what you need to bring to my class. So you can always look out there to find it. It'll usually be the same information on that intro screen when you come in. Put it back. Thank you, dear. Right now, life is easier on you because we used to have 3 different English textbooks that we would rotate through, and then different handouts, and then novels and stuff like that. And it was hard to keep track of all of them, so I put it out there. Now, you guys get to cheat. Because pretty much everything is going to be, bring your iPad. Oh wait, today is your iPad. But tomorrow is your iPad. because all this I'm going to give you is just on your iPad. So that's going to make things a little bit easier on you. But if things were to change, I put it out there on a sign, I put it up there on the screen. Boom! I use this weekly calendar over here on this far wall. There's a regular one and the advanced one. They're both the same right now because it's just the introduction to my class and I cover the same information. But eventually it separates. So don't look at the wrong class like, I don't know what this thing is. Like, that's the wrong class. Oh, I'm an idiot. So look at the correct one. It'll make your life easier. And I color code it to make it even easier on you. Anything we're doing in class is blue. Anytime you have a test, a quiz, or a homework, it's red. So you can look up there and see that on Thursday we had a spiral notebook due. Friday we had a picture due. Friday I assigned homework. So you can look up there to know whatever stuff is coming up. If we have a school dance, I'll put the school dance on there. If we have a convocation, I'll put the convocation up there. I put all information up there. I don't give pop quizzes because I'll write the quiz up there. I won't announce the quiz in class. I write it up there, which means there's still a chance that you'll be surprised when we have a quiz. When you show up and I'm like, hey, let's get ready for the quiz, and you go, I didn't know there was a quiz. Like, it was up there all week. I don't read that. You're an idiot. What do you want me to tell you? Come in, look over there, and then you'll see it, and then you'll be good to go. That also goes along the same lines of don't come and ask me if we have homework, because if we do, I will put it up there. If you come up to me and go, Mr. Broviak, is there homework due today? What I hear is, Mr. Broviak, I'm lazy. Will you torture me today? And the answer is yes. Yes, I will. And I'm really good at lying to kids with a straight face when it makes you a better person. And I will just come up with a random assignment to see if I can get you to do it. So when you walk in and ask me that, I go, yeah, we had an essay. You had to create your own animal. It had to come from a book or a movie. You had to explain why you wanted to have it as a pet in at least 5 paragraphs. We all have it. We're reading them as a speech today. Are you ready? You'll go, what? Like, but it's not on the board. I'm like, yeah, because I just made it up. Why would you ask me? So don't ask me. Look over there. It'll make your life much easier. Over here, I post your grades and your B points every week. It'll be by class period, not by your name. That's evil. It's just by your student ID number, the one you use for lunch and you use for library. You can look over there and you can find out what your grade is. I update it every Monday. So you'll know what your B points are and you'll know what your grade is in class. You could also go on Skyward, but I've discovered for some kids, boopity, 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 confused doesn't seem to work. Just looking at a piece of paper seems to make things easier on them. If you'd rather look on Skyward, it's the same information. I just go to Skyward and go, print, but you can look there. I'm happy either way. Walls?
Would you put like the low grade that you have on there?
What it'll be whenever I do it, it'll be, I think it's like your 3 most recent grades you've turned in. Only so that way you know if you have anything missing. If you have like a 0 there, that means you've not turned it in. Your current grade in class, and then your B points. And then it is, I do rank it from the kid who has the highest grade down to the lowest grade. So you can go on there and see where you are, but it's not by name. So you can't be like, oh, Joey. You'll just know that when you're on there, you're like, oh, I'm near the top, or ooh, I'm near the bottom. So that's just for your own knowledge if you want. If you don't want other kids to know your grade, don't yell out your number across the class, which happens every time. Check 952235. Then every kid knows what you are. Like, you're at the bottom. Don't tell her. Too late. You already did. So hopefully that helps you out. Keep it to yourself. You'll be fine. Burton.
Well, doesn't it say your name on the paper?
No, I take it off.
Oh, okay.
Genius. It just has the number and that's it. All right. Now, they're too loud out there. We're going to take a look at your notebook. We're going to write information on the outside front cover of the notebook for my class. We want to make sure you don't lose this notebook, because if you lose this notebook, it'll make you very, very sad. And it has to be on the outside front cover, not the inside front cover, because the idea being when you lose it and it's on the ground, other kids are lazy. They're not going to open it to look on the inside. They're going to go, oh, lazy, trash can. If the information on the outside, we'll get it back to you. Not just your name, though. No one knows who you are. Everyone knows who I am. No. All right. We'll pick up on this on Monday.
What do we do with that picture?
Bring back the picture on Monday. And bring back the notebook on Monday. And what were you supposed to remind me of, you horrible children?